Okay, that's fine. We are starting with interviewing our friend Sharesz Wilkinson. She looks connected. Sharesz, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Perfect. Well, without losing any minute, I'm inviting you to share your thoughts in 10 minutes, please.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's a great honor to be here. My apologies that I cannot be present in person. I'm a Forbes and Harvard Business Review Advisory Council's member, and I was asked to give a short keynote regarding change and how to create change through organizations, companies, and entire nations. I have been busy with this topic for the last 7 years, working with multinational companies around the globe, their C-level executive teams, as well as the CEOs on change creation and communication skills. Now, when we think about change, yes, it needs a lot of systems and processes that need to be put in place. But the key component that we have to look at is human beings. We all are people and have to deal with change first on a psychological level. So if you want to implement change throughout any government or company or structure, it is really relevant to understand how the human psychology works in terms of change, adaptation, and creation. First of all, we need to know in terms of communication how we communicate the anticipated changes that we want to instill and implement. And how to do that, we need to as well know who are our listeners and who is our audience. Now, how can we do that? I want to give you, in these 10 minutes, a short presentation where you have a few key points that you can take away with you today and implement and look at within your own structures and organizations. First of all,
but now we don't have any more time to go back to that.
I'm sorry, I have a back audio from somewhere else. On and on and on about seemingly irrelevant details. What this means is that we need to consider are the 6 human needs. I'm not sure if you ever have heard about it, but it is really relevant to be aware of it if you want to implement and create change within teams and organizations. What are these 6 human needs? The first of all is, in no specific hierarchy, love and connection. Love and connection doesn't mean romantic relationships. It means any form of human interaction. We are not born to be an island, and we actually really need other people to relate and talk to. We all want to be heard, appreciated, understood, and seen. If this is not the case, people go somewhere else, and they will look for this acknowledgement in other places. The next one is growth. If we're in an environment where we cannot grow, there is a perceived ceiling and we hit our head on it, again, people are not happy. They will not remain in this situation for a long time. So where are the growth opportunities through change? The next one is contribution. We want to be a part of the whole. We want to contribute. We want to be able to leave an imprint through our life and our work in any specific environment. Otherwise, we don't feel significant, which leads to the next point. We all want to feel significant in one way or another. So we have love, connection, significance, growth, contribution, and then there's one more, and it has just slipped my mind, and that is change management as well. Let me just think. Yes, here it is. Certainty and uncertainty. If we are too certain in a specific setup, we get bored. It's the human psychology, and it is the way how it works. Now, in change environment, we need to be aware that if there is too much uncertainty, too much change all at once, people are not able to handle it. We have very well seen that during COVID-19 with the pandemic, what happened worldwide is when people couldn't handle the situation, certain members of society, they committed suicide because it was too much change happening all at once and it couldn't be managed. So with these 6 human needs, we have the next point to consider in change management. And then one of the most important, not last points, is how to create a message. Now, when we talk to people, and this is really relevant, especially as well in politics, we always think about what we want to say and why is it important to us, but that's not the point. First of all, when we talk, it's about the message. It's never about us or ourselves. And number 2, it is about what is in it for the listener, from their point of view. So this is a really relevant point to consider. I spent hours preparing presentations with C-level executives to stakeholders to get this point right. What is in it for your listener from their point of view? In this case right now, for my few minutes presentations is what would be in it for you listening to me now during these 10 minutes. What's in it is you get awareness of considering the key ingredients for any change you want to create. It's based on people. People have a specific psychology. The key factors that you need to consider is how do they talk to each other? Are they inductive or deductive? Skilled communicators can adapt their approaches, but most people cannot because they're not aware of it. An inductive approach and a deductive approach together, they clash. You have to adapt to your listener's style of communication, either this way or this way. If it's 2 different ways, communication doesn't work. You need to know that. The next one is inductive, deductive, again, as I said. Then we have the 6 human needs. Let me repeat that one more time. Love and connection, growth, significance, contribution, certainty and uncertainty, and last but not least, how to deliver the message. The key point, what is in it for your listener. I wish you a wonderful time at this Congress in Salamanca. The weather is favorable, I think. At least here at the moment, it's very sunny and wonderful weather. I hope you have a wonderful week and a lot of relevant, helpful inputs to create a sustainable world going forward and the peace that we're all looking for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sharesz. Sharesz is touching an important dimension for smart cities adoption, which is change management and alignment for efficient partnerships, back to Sustainable Development Goal 17, to which communication skills are critical. Mr. Baybars Altuntas, Chairman at World Business Angels Investment Forum. Sure, you have crossed some WBAF members this morning. There is a real interest between WBAF and Peace City World when it comes to developing smart cities. Tomorrow, WBAF and Peace City World will be signing a global partnership. Would you develop how WBAF see these partnership opportunities in a few minutes? Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me. First of all, I think it is very important to highlight the importance of smart entrepreneurial ecosystems for smart and peaceful cities. Unfortunately, after COVID-19, the entrepreneurs of today started suffering a little bit financially. And it is very important to have the engagement of governmental plans for recovery issues, to include some financial support to support these entrepreneurs today. If they are not supported today, then they won't be able to survive and they won't be able to create more jobs, more wealth and social justice in the future. Entrepreneurs of today, by the way, you can stop me whenever you like because I know the time frames, and are lucky from ICO to IPO. There are different kinds of sources of finance available for them to grow up their businesses. Crowdfunding platforms, wealth management institutions, banks, VCs, government grants, co-investment funds, and so on. But one of them is different, angel investors. Why angel investors are different than others? Because they are putting more than money. They are putting mentorship, networking, and know-how in the businesses they invest. 320,000 angel investors invested 9.6 billion euro only in Europe the year before. And this is $26 billion in the United States and Canada by 340,000 angel investors. I think it was very meaningful for WBAF as an affiliated partner of the G20 for global partnership, financial inclusion issues, to make such kind of an agreement with World Peace City, peacecity.world, sorry. And why? Because each smart city, I think, should include a smart finance center to attract more smart people in the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Baybars.
Thank you.
We are also honored to have with us Ms. Rania Toukebri, and I'm inviting, given the time left before lunch, that Rania gives her presentation. I don't know if production can share the presentation of Rania immediately. Great. So Rania, you will see your slides on the screen. Mm-hmm. Is that okay for you?
Yes.
Can you, oh, your mic works.
I think, yeah, I'm able to see it a little bit. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Can we launch the presentation?
Yes, please. So I wanted, first of all, to thank you for having me here. I'm so honored to have you all here, and I wanted just to talk a little bit about space. So I am basically, next slide, please. Or I can use this one. So I am a spacecraft design and assembly integration testing engineer. So I am aerospace engineer, and I'm also a regional coordinator for Africa in Space Generation Advisory Council in support of United Nations for outer space affairs. And I wanted just to talk about these 2 points because I wanted to focus on the importance of having these 2 points merged together for the SDGs. So here we want to ask how we can use space for the Sustainable Development Goals. First thing first, you all heard about Artemis. Artemis is our way to go back to the moon. So we have been all excited to go back to the moon, to make our next jump to the moon, to send astronauts there. And we have been all excited to the launch of Orion. So this project has been mainly made by NASA, so by Americans and also by Europeans. So since I have been working a little bit on some part of this project, I can tell you that this is really interesting and exciting projects for Europe, for America, for the entire world, and for humanity, because it will define our next steps in the space sector. The cost of this magnificent and wonderful project, $93 billion. Not so much, I guess, for you guys. The next project is one of the most exciting programs that incited me to be in space and talk with you today. It's the Space Shuttle program. The Space Shuttle program is one of the most exciting projects for humanity since forever. And it also helped us to go in the outer space, to go to faraway places, and to make another step in space. The cost? $209 billion. Also not too much. But this is considered the most expensive project that we have ever done in space. The next project, this is actually one of my first projects I've been participated to. So I wanted to put here just real projects I participated myself so that we don't just talk about generic things. So this is a satellite that will go to Jupiter, the planet Jupiter. So we will study the moons of Jupiter in order to see if we have potential life on one of the moons of Jupiter, because potentially there is existence of water in there. So we can see if humans can survive there, we can take pictures, we can take measurements, different interesting parameters in order for us to know if we can live outside of Earth. Very interesting project. Cost? $1.1 billion. So here I wanted to insist on the fact that these projects are extremely important for us, for now, for the future, for the next generations. We are lacking resources, we know this, and we need also the resources from the outer space. So the outer space, the planets, the asteroids, moon, are extremely important because they are full of resources, and we have to target them. So investing in them is not a mistake, but it is something we have to think about very well. Hunger likely to claim a life every 36 seconds in east of Africa. So people die every 36 seconds in east of Africa while we are targeting the moon at the same time and investing billions of dollars in there. A bit pathetic, right? We have serious issues for food and water access in Africa. So I wanted just to put focus on Africa, since I know a little bit the situation in there. So maybe it's also applied in other regions of the world, but this is quite extremely dangerous and extremely bad in Africa. It's a bit problematic for us. It's a great issue because we try to find solutions for this. You can see yourself, so how the first picture you see here is like the food insecurity in Africa, like the red zones is basically people, they die from famine, from hunger in 2023. This is maybe 2019, but I guess it's very close statistics in 2023. And the other one is basically to the water services in Africa. People that don't have water to drink, to use, and they die from diseases because of this. Here, this is the access to the clean water, also used for people to live. And there is a huge issue in different parts in Africa. You can see the red ones. There is an issue. People don't have clean water, so there is great potential that they don't have water to drink every day. Another thing we forgot to mention is that we have serious problems related to disasters. We have everyday disasters, we have floods, we have earthquakes in different parts of the world, we have people dying every day. This is statistics of 2022, and this is not only Africa, we are talking about the entire world. We're talking about Japan, we're talking about Afghanistan, taking away 1,000 people's lives just for an earthquake. We have India, Sudan, Portugal, Colombia, Spain. So this is something happening every day, and it will even continue doing this due to the climate change we have. This is also statistics for you, because I think that this is the most representative things for you, because if we cannot just show pictures of people dying every day. These are just between 1970 and 2019, maybe also not extremely accurate, but this is very close to what we have. And the biggest issue we have is flood. Plus, of course, the other ones like extreme temperature, drought, wildfire, and others. We have the first one is basically the economical impacts on this, and the second one is people dying. We're talking about human beings dying every day. I wanted just to put like a note of the resources that are existing in Africa, just in case some people are not very aware. So we have a lot of resources, but probably we're not using them, or we try to exploit them in different ways. Just keep this in mind, because we will use it later. Sustainable goals. Why we use sustainable goals was the link of what I have mentioned, how we can put everything together to talk about solutions. These are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We have always talked about this. We are here today to talk about this. We try to find solutions to tackle these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And by the way, I think this is something we started discussing since more than 10, 20 years, or even more, I guess, talking about this still. So we try to find solutions to tackle with poverty, to hunger, to water access, the things I have just mentioned. And here we try really to think how we can really find concrete solutions about the Sustainable Development Goals, how to use the databases, how to use the factors, the indicators, to understand and to see how we can use this for the right way and use practical solutions. So we try to use different global, regional, local databases. We try to understand how to merge these factors together to try to create a framework in order for us to know how we can do this. Now we talk about space. So instead of just targeting the moon, sometimes we have to think about how to bring space down to Earth. And this is a topic we try to focus on right now. So bringing space down to Earth is not just targeting Mars and moon. We are talking about looking even deeper in space and looking even deeper in Earth. So we have what we call Earth observation data. Earth observation satellites are satellites that are orbiting, like we have around 3,000 satellites. Many of them are Earth observation. We try to use different ways in order to use this data in order to observe and in order to find solutions to tackle these problems. The different space applications we can use, instead of just using the Space Shuttle program, and instead of using Artemis, Jupiter Icy Moon satellite, we have other kind of satellites we can use for the SDGs. And these are mainly Earth observation satellites, communication satellites, space exploration in certain ways, and I will show you how, and also Global Navigation Satellite System, GNSS. This is for the communication zone. One of the programs that are extremely interesting, I have a chance to work on it as well, is Copernicus program. Copernicus program is maybe bringing space down to Earth, which means we try to see what are the issues, the biggest challenges we have, what are the priorities of the regions, of the countries, and we try to find a common goal in order for us to find concrete solutions. These are a few segments or few projects we try to focus on. These are what we call the Copernicus Sentinel expansion missions, things we are working on them right now. This is something that has been founded by European Commission and also co-founded by ESA, European Space Agency. And of course, the space sector is also working deeply on this side. Here, the biggest companies like Airbus, Defense and Space, Thales, like also the small companies, the medium ones, everybody is involved because we know how important it is. So here we don't talk about moon, we don't talk about Mars, we talk about food security and water management. Like, for example, the LSTM satellite, like the Cymer satellite, one of my satellites, I think it's the one that is extremely important to, basically for microwaves radiometers, and the Crystal satellite, and other ones as well. And here we're talking about supporting and let's say, and understanding how climate change works and what's gonna happen in the next years. This is an extremely interesting project we have worked on. It's biomass satellite. It's a NISA project, and the idea of biomass satellite is look into Earth, is basically to make a round, 4 years round of Earth, just to understand the life cycle of CO2 level in different forests in Earth, and to see how it's developing, how forests are, and so on. And this is a very extremely important satellite. The most important SDGs, in my opinion, now in Africa is the no poverty and how to tackle with this kind of big issues. So we try now to create what we call the Agenda 2030. So the Agenda 2030, I think many of you are familiar with it, is basically to try to understand how to address these issues and to understand how to make concrete projects and concrete satellites. If we don't care about the dimension of the satellite, either it will be a CubeSat or it will be basically a huge, big satellite. So this is what we say also, we should a bit talk about how we can create systems that will monitor basically the entire systems of satellites. We will try to expand a little bit the satellites we have. We don't need big constellations of satellites, but we need very good ones in order for us, for example, to understand how the flood goes, in order to manage it, in order to make a good supply chain, in order for us to tackle with the issues in emergency. So this is actually the next most important one, the 2030 agenda that is not only in Africa, but the entire world as well. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Rania. We also are privileged to hear from the Muslim world today. Speaking one voice through Mr. Mohammed Sharif, Advisor, Science and Technology at ISESCO, the Islamic World Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. Mr. Mohammed, smart cities are probably needed in Muslim world as much as other developing countries. Are we ready for that?
Excuse me?
Yeah, smart cities
Yes,
are as much needed in the Muslim world as in other developing countries.
Yes,
Are we ready for that?
ready for that, sir.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the nice introduction. I would say, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and also the participants, very good noon. Now we are really in the noon. So thank you very much for the organizers for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to walk through and walk in the history. If we see the Salamanca, you are saying it's a peace city, and if you dissect the word Salam Anka, so Salam means the peace. So it's already we are in the city of the peace. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Can we swap this from this to another screen? Anyways, if it is possible, it would be great. If not, then we can. No? It's okay. I'll go through. So, ladies and gentlemen, so I would like to give you the brief about the organization I come from, and then we'll also share some initiatives what we are doing at ISESCO. ISESCO is Islamic World Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It is intergovernmental organization of 54 member countries, which came out of the OIC after the meetings of head of states in Morocco and Pakistan, established in 1982, and headquarters in Rabat, Morocco. Thank you very much. It worked. So we, at the organization, you can have the idea of the organization like we are the UNESCO of Islamic world. Our main sectors are education, science and innovation, human and social sciences, culture, communication, partnership, and international cooperation. Our geographic representation in the 4 regions in Africa, Arab, Asia, and Latin America, which makes us 54 in numbers with 2 observer states. Our operational objectives are to create the technical expertise and the consultation through think tanks, capacity building, and program design, the project's implementation in member countries, through the professional and scientific networking, knowledge dissemination, promotion of successful experiences and best practices. We work through the mechanism, we have the national commissions, 54 national commissions. Each national commission is represented by the concerned ministry, Ministry of Education, Science, or Culture. We have the strategic partners, and we implement the strategic programs, strategic and joint programs in our member countries. Our priorities are the women, children, youth, and displaced people. Women, and we proclaimed the year of 2021 as a year of women under the theme Women and Future. It was under the patronage of His Majesty Muhammad VI, the King of Morocco. The programs were implemented and also the initiatives were taken. We are also formulating the social protection policies, then developing the preschool education system for the children. In our member countries, there are the youth programs. You are welcome to our booth to have the further insight in the program. ICESCO in figures. We are targeting hundreds of thousands direct beneficiaries annually. We have organized more than 5,000 events, which includes the trainings, specialized meetings, symposiums, workshops in the previous years, published 1,200 books and studies, 3,500 the research grants have been given so far, 55 the capital. This is our culture sector initiative. 55 capitals of culture in Islamic world have been celebrated so far, and 67 are adopted until 2025. We have inscribed 237 sites in Islamic World Heritage List. 15 prizes have been given on the excellence. We have established last year, 30 chairs in culture, science, and in education fields in different universities in different member countries. We have signed more than 300 cooperation agreements in the last couple of years. 21 medical, socio-economic, and humanitarian conferences have been organized. So you have the slides, not the last one, yeah? Okay. Anyways, so I can also share with you, we have established the culture capitals and the environment, the friendly cities, where in the previous years we have given the award, the green capitals, like in Agadir, the Morocco, and the Kampala, Uganda, and Nur Sultan, Kazakhstan. These are the initiatives. And then we have also the program on the green initiatives, sustainable and the smart cities. We are providing the number of the grants and the programs through our funding, through our internal and our partner funding. ICESCO has also started a program for the 54 member countries in accelerator and entrepreneurship startup of the program, where the 7 countries it has been implemented last year, and this year in 2023 we are going to implement in 15 countries. Last year we signed a number of agreements, including the World Business Angel Investment Forum, who are also helping us to implement entrepreneurial ecosystem in our member countries, and we're going to start in Oman and Bahrain very soon. This is one of the programs. Then, as Rania mentioned, we are also working with Rania together. She's been with us in a number of the programs and events. So we started the awareness, the program on space science. Through the Global Space Science Forum, we are providing the awareness and also the capacity building trainings. We started the CANSAT, Model Satellite Training Workshops. The first of it was held in Morocco last year, where the 23 countries, the graduates, participated. And in December, we also took this initiative to the Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is also the country where really they need the training and capacities. So our special, the area of interest is to create the skills and the capacities. We have come to this, the Peace City and the sustainable, the directions, different initiatives, as I mentioned, we have started. We are working for many years with the Ministry of Environment of Saudi Arabia, where every 2 years this ministerial conference is held either in Jeddah or in Morocco, and we also award the prize for that. So these are some initiatives, and we will be happy to share with you our initiatives on the Green City and the Peace City and the trainings during the next 3-4 days we are here. So you are welcome to share. And we are ready to cooperate in any of this kind of initiatives, entrepreneurship, as global space awareness programs, and also in entrepreneurial and startup programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Mohammed. Actually, I strongly believe that there's a huge potential of cooperation between PCT World and ISESCO, so we will have the opportunity to talk about it. Thank you very much. Like many of us, you have been flying in through Madrid, taking a bus or a train, driving to Salamanca, and that has an impact on our environment. What the experts call a carbon print, and which they measure. I have been hearing about this for years now, until I understood we can do something about it. And for real, not only talks. Of course, we know deforestation is bad, and planting trees is good for us and for the planet. We know how difficult it is to change our habits, get out of our comfort zone to do good. Until we all stop harming our environment, we can at least minimize our negative impact, which is practically possible and easy today. What is new is that we can measure and compensate our carbon print thanks to partners like Boskia. You may have noticed their presence at the entrance of the networking space. Let's welcome Mr. Rafael Permuy, COO of Boskia, and listen to his recommendations for a few minutes. It is all about reducing PCT World Congress 23 carbon print. Rafa?
Thank you. Hello? Yeah.
It works.
If I may, thank you very much. Thank you, Munir. First of all, thank you at personal level, John, Munir, and rest of the organization, because such amazing work. Thank you. Gracias. Such amazing work. It's really, really amazing. Thank you for all the technicians and the translators over there. First time in my life I've been traduced, so it's a huge responsibility. Thank you for that. You already covered half of my presentation. I will be straight to the point because you explained perfectly the idea, the background behind this initiative. Obviously, we are not able to compensate everything that this type of event implies, but at least we want to create a gesture, a coherent gesture of doing something, trying to do something to be more sustainable, because it's one of the key pillars of this Peace City concept, right? What we are going to do, and I will explain right now how, is compensating the carbon footprint that we are generating in this Congress because of the traveling to achieve this place, okay? But let me introduce briefly myself and also Boskia. Tomorrow, my co-founder and CEO, Francisco del Cid, is going to explain why, from a biological point of view, it's so important to plant trees. But I will be more pragmatic. Let me explain you why. I'm 50 years old. I was working during over 27 years for different multinational companies, 8 different companies, such as Pfizer, Sanofi Pasteur MSD, Hartmann, Pharmacia Navion, Allergan, Manpower, British American Tobacco. I mean, different sectors, different industries, right? After these 26 years, I decided to quit, to start a new life, looking for aspirational projects to try to leave my footprint as well. In this case, hopefully, positive one. So I founded 3 different biotech companies, and I started to mentor other entrepreneurs. That's how I met Francisco del Cid, founder, CEO, and visionary entrepreneur of this idea of planting trees to trying to do something to compensate what we are suffering. So tomorrow he will explain objectively why it's important to plant trees, but I want to give you a piece of advice, considering that since we joined forces and we created Bosquia in Spain, we already planted 300 projects for different companies, multinationals, small size, new companies, startups, any type of companies and organizations. And more important, we are having more than 600 requests in the last year. So it's a clear global trend from an economic point of view, from a strategic point of view, I must say, that planting trees is good for them, for the companies, for the money. There are also investment funds only investing in green projects. So both the companies that are currently running business and also that the money that is investing in businesses are paying attention to planting trees. So that's why we created Bosquia. We are planting trees in a really pragmatic and good way, but also from an economic point of view, talking the same language that the big corporations out there are doing, right? Having said so, how we are going to manage this? From a practical point of view. It's important to plant trees. We are going to do so. I don't know if it's running, guys. ¿Me ayudáis a ver si pasa? Next slide, please. Yeah. It's clear. Yeah, no, it's okay, thank you. This is a clear statement. I hope 99% of you will agree on this statement. It's important to plant trees in order to reduce, absorb, and compensate the carbon footprint. So I beg you to try to capture this QR link in order to visit the web page where we are going to calculate in an easy way your footprint, the footprint that your travel to Salamanca implies, okay? It's an easy way to do so. Afterwards, and you are invited to visit our booth in order to see how it's evolving. Once that you registered your survey, once that you register how you come here to Salamanca, in the dashboard we will see how many tons of CO2 that implies, okay, depending the number of surveys, and how many trees do we have to plant in order to compensate, to equilibrate this carbon footprint, okay? It's very easy to fill the survey. I will show you right now in live, 2 minutes, no more. It's really easy to do so. So I beg you to fulfill the survey, okay? We will have the figures there. Anyway, if I can try to show it live, please. If you give me access to the iPad in order to show you how we do that live. Thank you. Here I am. So once that you enter in the link, you will see this web page. Very easy. You just have to accept the terms, the cookies. My friend, may I ask you? Sorry. Perdona. May I ask you to tell me if you want to share with us how you came here to Salamanca? I assume you fly.
I flew from, yes.
From so airplane, origin airport.
From Casablanca.
Casablanca, easy. Casablanca Airport. Casablanca Airport.
To Madrid.
Maybe with the name of the airport will be easier.
Mohammed V Airport.
Okay, so maybe it's Mohammed, right?
Yeah.
Double M, I assume. Mohammed.
Mohammed V. Yeah.
To Madrid, I assume.
To Madrid.
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 Yeah.
But yes.
Madrid. Madrid. Adolfo Suárez, Madrid Barajas.
Yes.
Don't disclose your category, let's say economy class, whatever, and I assume you are getting back to Casablanca.
Yes.
So we save this journey, and obviously we have to add, because he's in Salamanca, by bus, by car?
By car.
By car, from, let's say, Aeropuerto Madrid. As you can see, very intuitive, everything is there, to Salamanca. Straightforward. Yes. You didn't have time to rest. Salamanca, yes. Palacio Congresos. And you are getting back. In a car, hopefully hybrid, let's say it was a diesel car, okay?
Or put it like maybe by bus.
By bus.
Yeah. So if
no, now it's by car. But I will do
different,
it for no problem.
Yeah. If it
Okay,
is-
in order to electric car, no problem. To be calm. We save the journey, and that's it. And we finish, and automatically your trip implies 284 kilos, as you can see here. 22 kilos by car, 262 by plane, and the total. And
282.
we send it, and automatically this data is going to the dashboard, and we will gather, we're going to aggregate all the data in this dashboard that you can see here. Now, we have these figures. It implies that some other, because we were with 3 surveys when I started my presentation. Thank you very much, because 7 of you plus ours are also captured and registered. We will have all the week in order to do so. With the final data, we will have a final amount of trees. And thank you for the opportunity, Munir and the rest of the organization. We are going to plant the trees in order to compensate this footprint. And this is all that I want to share with you. Because of the world, because of the planet, because it's needed, my partner tomorrow is going to cover that. But also from a practical and pragmatic point of view when it comes to business as well, which is my perspective, sorry for saying that, forever, because of the brain, because of the heart, or because of the wallet, planting trees is necessary, and we are going to do so. Okay? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rafa. This was relieving. Well, if you want to keep your carbon print low, you may want to avoid beef at lunch. Just joking. Now it is lunchtime. We have 90 minutes before coming back. 90 minutes or a little bit more? Yeah, 100 minutes. We need to come back at 2:30 to see how Salamanca businesswomen and businessmen are doing. Don't miss Plaza Mayor, very close to here, with lots of restaurants. Enjoy your break. And before I tell you bon appetit, I just want to remind you about something. The gala tonight is something that people will have to pay for, but you have already your ticket in your folder. So please, when you come back to the dinner and to the gala, dance gala tonight, don't leave your ticket in your folder. Bring it with you, okay? This is really important. That's it. So I just have to tell you bon appetit and come back at 2:30 here. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you then.